Hi, welcome everyone. So today's class we're going to be focusing on the spine, the back body, and we'll be working, moving the spine through all its different movement patterns. So forward bending and back bending, so flexion and extension. Also lateral flexion, so side bending, and also rotation. So from side to side. And the last one is axial extension, so creating length in the spine. Okay, so let's begin by setting an intention for the day. So you can take your hands together, if that suits you. Just thinking about what you would like from the day. And then release your hands. Come down onto the front side to begin. So coming into Crocodile Pose. So just moving your hips from side to side, so see if you can get balance between the left and the right hip points. Taking your legs fairly wide here so you can allow your body to relax into the pose. And then you may like to stack your hands or stack your forearms, and then just resting your forehead down. And just take a few moments just to land on your mat. Notice how you're feeling mentally, physically, energetically. And with your mind's eye, just start to do a scan of your body. Just notice parts of your body that feel open and spacious. Observe parts of the body that may be feeling a little bit tender, or if you're experiencing any pain. And once you've finished scanning the body, start to rest your awareness in the flow of your breathing. From this position, this prone position, it's a great way to start to bring awareness to the back body when you breathe. Because you've got the compression of your abdomen and the front ribs into the ground as you breathe in, you can send more awareness into those back ribs. Okay, so just starting to deepen the breath a little bit, so breathing in through your nose. You're welcome to breathe out through your mouth or out through your nose. As you do breathe in, can you feel those back ribs expanding? Exhale the breath. Feel your spine lengthening. So breathing in, expanding through the ribs to the back body, and exhale, just visualizing your spine lengthening. Just take another 3 full cycles of breath here. So breathing in, notice the restriction of the your abdomen and your ribs into the ground. Notice because of that, the breath is moving more to the back. Can you feel that gentle expansion? And exhale, just inviting length. Okay, last full cycle of breath. And then just release your hands. Take your hands alongside you. Oops, I may have got a little bit close to the microphone. You're going to push into your hands and then just lift up and slide back to a child's pose. You can take a fairly widely child's pose here. So we'll just take the arms long before he can come to the ground, or just allow your head just to rest where it's comfortable, even if it is suspended in space. Just neutralizing the spine here. So we're in Crocodile Pose. It was a back bend. It was a very gentle back bend, very subtle back bend, but it was still a back bend. So just allow the spine to just lengthen here. Okay, and then we're going to start to walk your hands over towards the right side of your mat. Just keeping your gaze down towards the ground, so just keeping the head in line with the spine. You're taking your hands over just so you can start to feel this down through the left side of the body all the way to the hip crease. If you need to go a little bit deeper, you may like to try crossing your left hand over your right. And then walk your hands back to center. Just pausing here for a few breaths. Just noticing the difference between the left and the right sides of the body. Again, awareness of your abdomen, your chest, pushing into your thighs here. So again, the breath is moving more to those back ribs. Okay, and then start to shift your hands over towards the left side of your mat. And again, just come to a place where it feels comfortable for you. Just slowly starting to warm up the spine. And feel this gentle stretch all the way through the right side of the body. And then bring your hands back to center. And again, just pausing here. Just feeling into both the left and the right sides of the body. Allow your spine to be long. Okay, and then just start to walk your hands back towards you. We're going to just lift the hips up and then come onto your back. Okay, so just taking your feet about hip width distance apart, lying down on the back. So the base of your skull is on your mat, back of the pelvis on the mat. We've talked about this before with finding the neutral curves of the spine. The natural curves of the spine here in this neutral position. So we're going to do some gentle arching and curls, starting with the lower back and then moving up to the upper back. And so when you're ready, if you'd like to move with the breath, you're welcome to. So you visualize that you've got a belt on around the navel area, and you're just going to start to lift the belt line up towards the ceiling. So you're creating a little bit more arch into the lower back. And then just slowly release, taking your navel down and towards the ground. Feel your spine lengthen against the ground. And then again, just breathing in, lifting the navel up towards the ceiling. So you're creating a gentle arch, and then navel draws down towards the ground. Feel your spine lengthen against the ground. Let's do one more full round of arching through the lumbar spine. It's not too deep, so those lower ribs can stay on the ground. And then exhale, navel draws in, the spine lengthens. Just come back to a neutral position. Just notice how you're feeling in the lower back. And then take your hands one behind the other at the base of your skull. And then we're going to start to move into the upper body. So still the arching and curls. So as you breathe in, you arch up through the lower back. So creating that gentle arch, and maybe your gaze will start to come behind you, turn up towards the ceiling. So you're also creating a little bit more arch in the cervical spine. And then slowly come back through neutral, and then slowly lifting up. So now we're starting to lengthen through the back body, contract through the front. Lowering down, just take a nice deep breath in, arching up through the lumbar spine, maybe the cervical spine if that feels good for the neck. And then exhale to curl up. Keep the back of your head pressing into your hand. Feel the cervical spine, your neck lengthen here. And then again, lower back down. Let's do one more full round. So just breathing in, creating that gentle arch. And then exhale. And come back down. Just release your hands. Just pause for a few moments. Again, just observing the spine. Okay, so we've done the flexion and extension. We've done the lateral. Now let's come into some twists. Okay, so they're just stepping your feet towards each other, knees together. Just take your arms out to a T. And we'll bring the arms into the movement as well. So turn your right palm to face up. Actually, I'm just going to move over so my left palm can face down. Okay, so right palm face up, left palm face down. Now you're going to gently turn your head towards the right, so looking out over your right fingers, and then your knees will come gently towards the left. And not forcing it here. And then just slowly come back through center. You'll switch your hands over, so left palm face up, right palm face down, head to the left, knees to the right. And then just moving gently through center, take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, rotating, right palm face up, head to the right. And again, inhale to center, exhale to twist. Let's do one more full round, so breathing in. Exhale, head to the right, knees to the left. And then switching. Okay, gently make your way back to center. Just reset again, pelvis on the ground, base of your skull on your mat. Just take a couple of breaths, observing what you're feeling in the body. Okay, then we're going to take the knees to a tabletop position. You're welcome to use something in between your legs if you need a little bit of feedback to help your inner thighs, your adductor muscles engage. Otherwise, you're just squeezing your thighs in towards each other. So this is a very small movement. We're just rotating into the lumbar spine. So you want to keep the lower ribs on the ground. Okay, and you can take your arms out to the side again, just so you feel balanced. So give your knees a squeeze, your thighs a squeeze, take a breath in. As you exhale, slowly take your knees towards the right, just so the outer edge of the left hip lifts up, but keeping the left side of those ribs down. So it's not a big movement here. And come back through center, and then taking it to the left. So each time you move through center, if you're moving with the breath, inhale. Exhale, navel draws gently into the spine, and you rotate. So inhale to center, keep squeezing those inner thighs towards each other, and then take it to the left. Okay, so just gently moving from side to side. Just feel as you move through center, you're just gently massaging the back of the pelvis. Take it over to the left, and then come back through center. You can give your knees a hug here. Maybe like to rock from side to side. And then take your legs long, hands underneath your lumbar spine down towards your sacrum, so down towards the buttocks. You push your hands, your forearms down into the ground, keeping the legs long. Start to lift the chest up, come all the way up to sitting. If this doesn't work for you, roll over to one side and then push all the way up. Okay, and then we'll take it to a tabletop position. So now we're going to isolate the thoracic spine. So again, a block can be used in between the thighs, or something else if you need to, if you've got something else, a cushion or something may work too. So again, it's just creating feedback. So you can engage the adductor muscles, bit of tone to your navel here, and we're wanting to keep the pelvis stable, so we're working into the mid to upper back rather than into the lower back. And so again, the block just helps to create the feedback, so you're stabilizing through the pelvis. Okay, but it's if you don't have anything, that's okay too. Okay, so let's start by keeping your left hand down on the ground. Take your right arm out to the right, lifting up to about shoulder height, and then you're going to sweep it in between your left hand, left knee out towards the left, and just allow the arm to float up off the ground, so it's not on the ground. And then bring your arm back. You're going to take your hand onto the side of the head, keep squeezing those inner thighs, and then start to lift your elbow up towards the ceiling. So you're rotating now into the thoracic part of the torso. And come back to center, releasing your arm out to the side, sweeping your right arm through, and then again come back through center and lifting up. Let's do it one more time on this side. So arm out to the side, then sweeping it in between left hand, left knee, reaching, and then hand onto the side of your head, and then lifting your elbow up, opening up through the chest, and come back to center, switching your hands over. So right hand down. Take your left arm out to the side, reaching out through your fingers, and then sweeping your hand in between right hand, right knee. And then take your hand onto the side of your head, and then lifting your elbow up towards the ceiling. Come back to center, take your arm out to the side, and then sweeping your hand through, reaching, and then come back to center, hand onto the side of your head, lifting up. And lower. Take your hand out one more time, reaching out towards the right side of the room. And then take your hand onto your head and then lifting up. And lower. Release your left hand down. Let's just slide back to a child's pose. Just pausing here for a couple of breaths. And then come forward. We're going to just start to draw your shoulders forward, bend at the elbows, and lower down towards the ground. Okay, now take your hands out in front of you. We're coming to Sphinx pose. Just move back slightly. Okay, so again, find the balance between the left and the right hip points. Hands, forearms down onto the ground. So this is a bit more of a deeper back bend. So notice how you're feeling in the lumbar spine. So if you feel like you're pivoting from a single point, then you are going to want to lengthen the spine a little bit more. So you can take your hands down, they're already down. Take your forearms, your arms a little bit further away from the shoulders, and what that means is your rib cage will start to come down to the ground. And you may notice that this is now not so compressing so deeply into that single point. Okay, but if you feel okay up here though, of course, stay here. Okay. And then from here, we're going to just start to reach the sternum up towards the ceiling. So sternum in front of your chest, lifting your gaze and taking your gaze to where it feels comfortable for you. So it could be to where the ceiling meets the wall. And then start to take your gaze down. Tuck your chin in towards your chest. Push into your forearms, into your hands, and start to round. So you're lifting the chest up and towards the back body. Navel can come up away from the ground and maybe the hips lift. And then lower the hips, abdomen, and slowly start to unfurl, lifting your gaze up, just gently opening up across the chest, so gently pulling your shoulders back as you lift your gaze. Okay, and then taking your gaze down, again gently rounding, so tucking your chin in, lifting the chest away from the ground, and taking it to where it's comfortable for you. So just the chest may lift, maybe the navel, maybe the hips. And then again, unfurling as you lift your gaze up. And one more time. So take your gaze down, tuck the chin in. This may be enough for you here. Otherwise, gently drawing the chest in towards the spine. Navel draws in, hips may lift. And then slowly release. Just come back to just a neutral position. So gaze forward. And then come onto your elbows. Just cupping your chin with your hands. And then you're going to slowly take your head over towards the right side of the room. So turning around, maybe looking out over your right shoulder. Notice what you feel here, especially down into that lower back area. And then gently come back to center. Just relax here. Okay, now take it over to the other side. So turning your head towards the left. Again, notice what happens right into the side of the waist, down into your lower back. Observe the hips, what's happening to each leg. And then slowly come back to center again. Just relax. Let's do that again. So turning your head gently around towards the right. So you're looking out towards the right shoulder, but of course be mindful of your neck, only taking it to where it's still comfortable for your neck. And then you can just slowly start to bend your opposite leg, so left leg bends. Release the leg, come back through center, pause and relax. And then taking your gaze over your left shoulder, so turning your head, and then bending your right leg. Again, paying attention to what you feel all the way down the spine. Release the leg, head back to center. Let's do it another full round, so gaze, head over towards the right. A little bit of squeeze where you feel it compressing. Bend your left leg. And then slowly release. Come back to center. One more time to the left. So notice if you can go a little bit further around. Kick your right foot in towards your buttock or bending your leg. And then release the leg, head back to center. And then just release your hands. Just take a couple of breaths here. let's just move the head. So just taking your head at about a 45-degree angle, so your gaze will be down towards the ground, and then you're just nodding from side to side, noticing the range of movement you have in the neck. Okay, come back to center after turning to the left, and then lift your head up. So now gaze straight ahead and then moving from side to side, so nodding no. Notice if this range of movement has changed. Observing any restrictions. Okay, just take your gaze back forward and then just lower back down. Take your hands alongside you. Come into Cobra Pose. So you're going to just push down through the tops of your feet. Hands can be on the ground with your forearms down if you would prefer. Otherwise, hands alongside your chest. Okay, now pubic bone draws down to the ground. And first of all, you're going to think of length. So just slide your body forward on your mat, about a centimetre, millimetre, whatever. Okay, and you want to think of length to your spine. So this is not about trying to get your chest up as high as you can and back bending as deeply as you can. Think of length to your spine. So feel like you're spreading the load throughout the whole spine. Okay, so we'll begin. Take a nice deep breath in and then rising up. So lengthen your sternum forward, gaze down towards the ground. Keep drawing the elbows back towards the back of the room as you reach your sternum forward. And you should be able to lift your hands here, so you're not pushing down to try and lift up. Keep lengthening and then slowly release. Okay, let's do that again. So tops of your feet push down, push your pubic bone down into the ground, and again, slowly starting to reach your sternum forward, lifting your gaze to about a couple of feet in front of you. And again, think of length here, so elbows draw back, sternum draws forward. Now, if it's comfortable for you, you can relax your knees. So you're taking some of that activation out through the legs and creating more strength for the spine. Okay, and then slowly release. Okay, push into your hand. You're going to lift up and then gently take it back to a child's pose. So just sliding back to where it's comfortable for you, and think of length here. You can rest for a few moments with your hands stacked, maybe resting your forehead down. Okay, and then rising up to your tabletop position. Okay, from here we're going to curl the toes under. And then just take the hips towards the heels. Just feeling a gentle progressive contraction in your center as the hips come down. It's like rounding through the back. And then as you push into your hands, lift your chest up and lengthen the spine. So feel like you're lengthening out through the crown of the head, tailbone towards the back of the room. So we're creating axial extension here. So you're keeping the natural curves of your spine, but extending the spine. Okay, and again, take your hips towards the heels first. Oh, sorry, hips. Let's start again. Tailbone drawing towards the back of the room, so straight back first, so the spine's still long, and then you start to contract through the front, hips draw down towards your heels. Okay, and then again, rising up, creating the axial extension, so crown of the head drawing towards the front of the room, gaze down, navel draws in. Okay, and then just step up through the feet. Okay, we'll come just to a kneeling position, rise up, and lifting your arms up towards the ceiling. And then as you start to lower the arms down, you're going to start to rotate towards the right side of the room. Keep releasing the arms downwards, then bring your torso back to center, lifting up. Take a nice deep breath in, and then exhale, rotating towards the left side. Just allow the arms to come down, and again, back through center, reaching up, and then twisting. Again, inhale, find length, exhale, twist one more time. So keeping your spine long as you rotate. Let's do one more full round here. Okay, and then come back to center. Okay, we're just going to do a movement here, and I'll turn to face you so you can see it.
So staying in the kneeling position, take your hands around the ribs and you're wanting to focus your gaze on a single point in front of you and keeping the navel still as well. And so you're just going to take your ribs towards the right and then the ribs cage towards the left. So just moving it gently from side to side. For some of you, you may not have much range of movement here. So just observing that for you. So keeping the gaze on a single point, otherwise notice if your head's going over as well. So the rib cage pushes to one side and then towards the other. Let's just do one more full round here. So take it to the right and then to the left. Okay, and then just relax. You can just shake out through the shoulders. Okay, and then when you're ready, just curling your toes under. Take your hands towards your knees, lifting your knees up, hips up. And then we'll come all the way up to standing. So hinging at the hips and make your way up. And then just step to the front of your mat. Okay, first of all, we'll come into lateral flexion. So take your right hand onto your, actually we'll take it onto the hips. So just feet about hip width distance apart. Now I feel like you're lifting all the way up through the crown of your head. So axial extension. And then feel as though when you lift your rib cage up, you're lifting your waist out of the pelvis and you flex over towards the right side of the room. And then you can take your right hand onto your hip, left palm can face up and take it up and over towards the right side of the room. So you're stretching, lengthening all the way through that left side, compressing down through the right side. And then reaching both arms up, come back to center. Now taking your hips gently back, coming into Utkatasana. So reaching through your fingers, lengthen up. So zipping up through the front of the body, tailbone drawing down. Maybe sinking back a little bit more. And then take your hands towards your heart center. Start to shift your weight over towards your right foot and lift your left foot up. And then you're going to slide the foot back. You can slide along the ground, or if you've got your balance, extend the leg and then lower the leg down. We're coming into a high lunge position, so you want to make sure your front knee is over your ankle. Lift the back heel, back thigh up. Back toes are facing forward, as well as the front ones. And keep your chest at that 45-degree angle. Okay, so just breathing here, and then again we're going to come into lateral flexion. So reaching your left arm up, right hand onto the side of your hip, and then start to flex over towards the right side of the room. And then we're going to start to rotate, so you can take your hand down to your hip or just swinging the arm down, reaching, and your spine stays long and you rotate through the rib cage. Whoops. Find your balance and then take your hands towards each other. Okay, keep your spine long, lengthen the spine, so axial extension. Just breathing here. Let's take another full breath in. Exhale, navel draws in, maybe rotate a little bit more. And then inhale to center, reach your arms all the way up. Take a nice deep breath in as you lift up. And then exhale. Actually, we're going to step forward, so breathe in. And then push up your back foot, step all the way forward. Release your arms down. Just give it a shake. Okay, let's come on to the other side. Okay, so again, we'll start off with hands onto your ribs. Push down through the feet. Lift the rib cage up. Lengthen. And then flex over towards the left. And then take your left hand onto your hip, right palm face up, and then reaching it over towards the left side of the room. So your left palm faces towards the left. Okay, creating that nice space through the right side of the body. And then come back through center, reaching both arms up, sinking back as though you're sitting onto a chair. So sit bones draw back, hips draw back. Stabilize through your feet, shifting the weight towards the heels. Okay, taking a nice deep breath in, lift and lengthen. And then take your hands together at your heart center. From here, you're going to start to shift the weight into your left foot. Again, you can slide your right leg back or pick up the right leg. And then start to draw it towards the back of the room. Lower the foot down. And then again, you want to make sure that your front knee comes over your ankle. So take your foot back far enough. Okay, if it does get too much on your with your back leg lifted, you can always come to a lunge position, low lunge position. Okay, so keep reaching your chest forward at about a 45-degree angle, and you're creating the axial extension, so lifting up out through the crown of your head. Okay, and then from here, we're going to take left hand onto the hip, reach right arm towards the corner of the, towards where the ceiling meets the wall, so in that 45-degree angle, and then start to flex. So lateral spinal flexion. Okay, and then we start to rotate, so you're going to start to wrap that right rib around, and then again, you can join your hands together. The right tricep can come on the outside of your thigh. Now keeping your spine long here, extending the spine, breathing in. As you exhale, navel draws in towards your spine, maybe rotate a little bit more. Take one more full round of breath. Exhale your breath completely. And then inhale. Come forward, reaching up. And we'll step forward, so exhale, make it all the way forward, and then release your arm. And then just shake out through the legs. Okay, let's come down onto to your back. So just take your hips back, hands onto your legs, and then hands down to the ground. And coming all the way down. Okay, let's just give the knees a hug in towards your chest. You may like to circle the legs. Just away from each other and then towards each other. And then from there, just give your knees a hug right in towards your chest and gently rock from side to side. So just massaging the spine. Okay, when you're ready, we've just got a couple more moves to do. So you're going to cross your left leg over your right leg. Take your hands, actually we'll take the hands out to a T. Okay, we're going to come into a deeper spinal twist. If this is not comfortable for you, keep your legs separated. Okay, so you push down into your right foot, bring your hips slightly over towards the left side of your mat as your knees start to come down towards the right side. Okay, and then your left arm may like to slide up towards the back of the room on the diagonal. So you're feeling this all the way down through, from the fingers through the armpit, across the chest. Okay, come back through center. Just releasing your left arm down and crossing your legs. Just recenter yourself on your mat and then take your right leg over the left. Okay, so you push down into your left foot, shuffle your hips gently towards the right side of your mat. It's just a slight movement. And then the knees come down towards the left side as your right arm comes out to the right and maybe up towards the back of the room. Continue to breathe here, just noticing your breath. Okay, slowly release. So bring your knees back up. Just step your feet away from each other. And then step your feet to opposite sides of your mat, knees in towards each other. Base of the skull on the mat, arms alongside you. Just come into constructive rest pose, just feeling the spine. You're welcome to stay here for your Shavasana, or you can take your legs long. And just ease into your resting pose. Just observing any subtle changes, anything that may have moved or shifted for you throughout the practice. And these changes are not always physical. They could be mental or emotional, so just pay attention. And when you're ready, you can make your way up to a seated position. Take your hands together at your heart center and take a moment to just acknowledge the time that you'll spend honoring yourself during this practice. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.